My entrepreneur husband smirked across the mediation table and told me I was walking away with zero because legally he didn't own our house anymore. His mother did. I cried, signed the papers, and let him think he'd won the perfect divorce. He didn't know that my accountant had already flagged the transfer as a taxable gift, and I was just waiting for the ink to dry before I introduced his mother to the IRS. I remember the smell of that conference room. Stale coffee and expensive leather. Mark was wearing his deal-closing suit. The navy one I bought him for his 32nd birthday. He sat there, leaning back in the chair, spinning a Mont Blanc pen between his fingers. Next to him sat his mother, Barbara. She was wearing pearls. Real ones. And a look of pure, unadulterated triumph. "It's simple, Selena," Mark said. His voice was smooth. Too smooth. "The house isn't marital property. The deed is in Barbara's name. The savings account? Also Barbara's name. I'm just a broke startup founder crashing on his mom's couch." He spread his hands wide. A gesture of mock helplessness. "I can't give you half of nothing, babe." My lawyer, a sharp-edged woman named Reynolds, had kicked me under the table 3 times already. That was the signal. Do not react. Do not scream. Stick to the script. So I didn't scream. I looked down at the settlement agreement. It was insultingly thin. 7 years of marriage. 5 years of me working double shifts in tech sales. 2 years of paying for his incubators and networking retreats in Tulum. And it ended with this. I picked up the pen. My hand was shaking. That part wasn't acting. I was terrified. But not for the reason they thought. "If I sign this," I whispered, keeping my voice small, "it's over? No more fighting." "No more fighting," Mark said, winking at his mother. "Clean break." I let a single tear slide down my cheek. I'd practiced that in the mirror. "Hey," I said. "I just want to move on." I signed. Barbara let out a huff of air, like she'd been holding her breath since 1985. She reached over and patted Mark's hand. "You made the right choice, dear," she said to me. "Mark needs his resources to build his empire. You can always retrain. Be a receptionist or something." I capped the pen. "Goodbye, Mark," I said. I walked out of that office with nothing but my purse and a signed copy of the decree that said I was destitute. They thought they had stripped me bare. They thought they were untouchable. But they didn't know about the phone call I'd received 3 weeks ago. And they certainly didn't know that by signing that paper, I hadn't just waived my rights to the house. I had locked them into a tax trap that was about to cost them everything. Let's back up. You need to understand how we got here. To understand the revenge, you have to understand the theft. I met Mark 7 years ago. I was 26, hungry and crushing my quotas at a SaaS company. He was pre-revenue. That's tech speak for unemployed but arrogant. He had charisma. I'll give him that. He talked about disruption and synergy in blue ocean markets. I fell for it. I thought I was investing in the next Elon Musk. Turns out I was investing in a leech with a LinkedIn premium subscription. For 5 years I was the engine. I woke up at 5 a.m. I took calls with Tokyo at midnight. I dealt with screaming clients and incompetent managers. I banked every commission check. We bought the house on Maple Street 3 years ago. It wasn't a mansion. It was a classic colonial. 4 bedrooms. Big oak tree out front. I put down the deposit. $120,000. Hard cash. Mark put down 0. But he insisted his name be on the deed. For the optics, babe. Investors need to see stability. I let him do it. I loved him. I trusted him. Then came the pivot. 6 months ago, Mark's behavior changed. He stopped talking about his app. He started talking about asset protection and legacy planning. He became obsessed with his mother, Barbara. Barbara is a piece of work. Imagine a woman who thinks the world exists to serve her son, and anyone who asks him to do dishes is an oppressor. She never liked me. She called my job aggressive. She said I was too loud because I negotiated my own car lease. I should have seen the signs. I came home early one Tuesday. Mark was in his home office, which I paid for. He was shredding documents. "Just cleaning up old files," he said, smiling too widely. 2 days later he asked for my banking passwords. To sync with the new accounting software, he claimed. I gave them to him. I know how stupid that sounds now. But you don't expect your husband to rob you. You expect a burglar to break a window, not the person sleeping next to you to empty the safe. That's when the accountant called. Jerry isn't my accountant. He was our accountant. He's 70 years old. He wears suspenders unironically. He has a framed picture of his golden retriever on his desk and no computer in his office, just stacks of paper. He called me on a Thursday. Selena, he said. His voice was gravelly. Serious. I'm looking at the draft return Mark sent over. I need you to clarify something. Sure, Jerry. What is it? The transfer on the 14th, he said. The quitclaim deed. Did you sign a power of attorney giving Mark permission to transfer the Maple Street property? The room stopped spinning. It just stopped. What? I asked. The house, Jerry said. It's been retitled. It's in Barbara's name now. For a consideration of $10. And the savings account ending in 4092? It was drained yesterday. Transferred to a trust. Beneficiary, Barbara. I sat down on the kitchen floor. The cold tile seeped through my jeans. I didn't sign anything, Jerry. I see, Jerry said. There was a long pause. Selena, you need a lawyer. Today. But before you go, I need to tell you something about tax law. Listen to me carefully, Jerry said. I could hear him shuffling papers. Mark is trying to hide assets. He thinks if he moves the money and the house to his mother, the divorce court can't touch it. It's a classic shell game. Is it legal? I asked. My voice cracked. It's fraudulent conveyance, Jerry said. But proving that in family court takes years. And expensive lawyers. He knows you can't afford a long war if he freezes the accounts. He was right. If the accounts were empty, I couldn't pay a retainer. Mark had checkmated me before I knew we were playing. But, Jerry said. And I could hear the smile in his voice. A dry, dusty accountant smile. Mark is arrogant. And like most arrogant people, he thinks he's smarter than the IRS. What do you mean? He transferred a house worth $1.2 million and cash totaling $400,000 to his mother. He did it for love and affection. $0. In the eyes of the IRS, that is not a sale. That is a gift. I waited. Any gift over the annual exclusion, which is about $18,000, must be reported, Jerry explained. The giver, Mark, is supposed to pay the tax. But here is the kicker. If Mark doesn't file a gift tax return because he's trying to hide the transfer, and if he claims he has no money to pay the tax, the liability shifts, Jerry said. To the recipient. I blinked. Barbara, Jerry confirmed. If the IRS finds out about a massive unreported gift and the giver is insolvent, which Mark is pretending to be, they go after the receiver. They don't care about divorce courts. They care about their cut. And the penalties for not filing? They are brutal. 40% tax rate. Plus interest. Plus failure to file penalties. I sat there on the floor. So, I said slowly. If I let him get away with it. If I let him prove in court that he gave everything to his mother. You are creating a paper trail, Jerry said. A sworn legal record that this was a completed transfer. Once the divorce is final and he can't take it back, you send the records to the IRS. And Barbara gets the bill, I said. A bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars, Jerry said. Immediate due. They'll put a lien on the house. They might even seize her other assets. I felt a cold calm wash over me. Jerry, I said. Don't say a word to him. I work for the couple, Jerry said. But today the couple doesn't exist. Good luck, Selena. That was the moment I stopped being a victim. I stood up. I wiped my face. I looked around the house I had paid for. The walls I had painted. Mark walked in 10 minutes later. He was whistling. Hey babe, he said. What's for dinner? I looked at him. I looked at the man who had stolen 5 years of my life and every dollar I had saved. Leftovers, I said. Then I went to the bathroom and vomited. The next morning I started the performance of a lifetime. The next 2 months were hell. I had to play the part of the confused, broken wife. The gray rock. If you don't know the term, look it up. It means becoming so boring, so unreactive, that the narcissist loses interest in tormenting you. But in my case it also meant playing dumb. I let Mark serve me the divorce papers. He did it on a Friday night. He actually hired a process server to come to the door while we were eating pizza. It's just business, Selena, he said, taking a bite of pepperoni. We've grown apart. And honestly, I need a partner who understands the visionary mindset. But the money, I stammered, making my lip quiver. The savings account is empty, Mark. The app says 0. Oh, that, he waved a hand. Bad investments. Crypto crash. You know how it is. Market volatility. He was lying. I knew the money was in a trust account at Chase. I had the account number because Jerry had slipped it to me. And the house? I asked. Mom's house, he corrected. We were just tenants, Selena. Didn't you read the paperwork when we moved in? Gaslighting. Pure, unfiltered gaslighting. He was trying to convince me I hadn't bought the house myself. I thought. You thought wrong, he said coldly. Look, I'm willing to be generous. I'll give you $5,000. Moving money. But you signed the uncontested divorce decree. No discovery. No lawyers digging through trash. We end it clean. $5,000. My commission check last month was $12,000. And he was offering me $5,000. I need time, I whispered. You have until mediation, he said. Tuesday. I spent that weekend crying in the guest room. In reality, I was scanning documents. I found the quitclaim deed in his desk drawer. He hadn't even filed it properly yet, he'd just notarized it. I took a photo. I found the bank transfer receipts. Wire transfer to B. Halloway Trust. $412,000. I took a photo. I found his emails to his mother. Subject: the plan body, she's clueless. Once she signs, we're clear. Keep the money in the trust until the divorce is absolute. Then we transfer it back to the LLC. I forwarded that email to a burner account. Then I went to the mediation. Which brings us back to the smirk. When I signed that paper, Mark thought he had won the lottery. He walked out of there high-fiving his lawyer. Barbara actually stopped to tell me I should look into budgeting courses. It's a hard world out there for single women, she said, clutching her handbag. I'll figure it out, I said. I moved into a studio apartment. It smelled like bleach and old carpet. I slept on an air mattress for 3 weeks. I waited. The law says there's a 30-day window to appeal the divorce decree. If I made a move before those 30 days were up, Mark could claim it was a mistake. He could try to reverse the transfer. He could claim he forgot. I needed the divorce to be stone-cold final. I needed the house to be legally, irrevocably Barbara's. Day 29. I was eating instant ramen. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark. Just so you know, I'm launching the new venture next month. Thanks for being reasonable. No hard feelings. I didn't reply. Day 30. Midnight. The window closed. Day 31. I woke up at 6 a.m. I made a pot of coffee. Good coffee. I sat down at my laptop. I opened the IRS Information Referral Portal. Form 3949A. I attached the quitclaim deed. I attached the bank transfer records. I attached the email where he admitted it was a scheme to hide assets. And I attached a cover letter explaining exactly what had happened. To whom it may concern, please find attached evidence of a gift of real estate and cash totaling $1.6 million, transferred from Mark Halloway to Barbara Halloway on October 14th. To my knowledge, no gift tax return Form 709 was filed. The transferor claims insolvency. Please investigate the transferee for tax liability. I hit send. But I wasn't done. In my state, there's a little thing called a whistleblower reward. The IRS pays a percentage of taxes collected if you provide specific, credible information about tax fraud. I filled out Form 211. Application for award for original information. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it for the poetry. Then I waited. The wheels of the government turn slow. But they grind exceedingly fine. 3 months passed. I rebuilt my life. I got a promotion at work. I bought a Real bed. I started dating a guy who actually paid for dinner. A teacher named David who thought Synergy was a type of energy drink. I heard nothing from Mark. Until Thanksgiving. I was at my parents' house peeling potatoes. My phone rang. Unknown caller. I usually don't answer those. But I had a feeling. I picked up. You bitch. It was Mark. But he didn't sound smooth. He sounded like a strangled cat. Hello, Mark. Happy Thanksgiving. What did you do? He screamed. What did you do? I'm peeling potatoes, I said calmly. What did you do? The IRS, he shrieked. They sent a letter to my mother. A notice of deficiency. They want $300,000, Selena. Immediately. Oh no, I said. That sounds stressful. They froze her accounts. He was hyperventilating. They put a lien on the house. On my house. Wait, I said, dropping my voice to a whisper. I thought it was Barbara's house? You said in court, under oath, that it was her house. You didn't own it. Remember? There was a silence on the line. A heavy, suffocating silence. You set us up, he hissed. I didn't do anything, I said. You're the one who gave her a gift. I just made sure the paperwork was accurate. Fix this, he yelled. Call them. Tell them it was a mistake. Tell them it was marital assets. I can't do that, Mark, I said. That would be perjury. I signed the divorce decree. You signed it. The judge signed it. That house belongs to Barbara. And so do the taxes. She's 70 years old, he was crying now. She's going to lose her retirement. Then maybe she shouldn't have accepted stolen property, I said. I hung up. Then I blocked the number. But the story doesn't end there. I needed to see it. I admit it. It's petty. But I needed to see the fallout. 2 weeks later, I drove by the house on Maple Street. There was a sign in the yard. Not a for sale sign. An auction notice. It turns out Barbara didn't have $300,000 in liquid cash to pay the tax bill plus the penalties. And because Mark had drained the savings account to hide it in a trust, the IRS had frozen that trust too because it was part of the fraudulent transfer. They were locked out of their own money. I parked down the street and watched. Mark's car was in the driveway. He was outside loading boxes into a U-Haul. He looked 10 years older. He wasn't wearing his suit. He was wearing sweatpants. Barbara came out. She looked small. Frail. The pearls were gone. She was shouting at him. I rolled down my window to hear. Told me it was safe. You told me she was stupid. I didn't know. Mark shouted back. I didn't know she talked to Jerry. You ruined me, she screamed. She threw a cushion at him. Get this into the truck. I'm not losing my antique vanity to the government. I watched them fight for 10 minutes. The neighbors were watching too. Mrs. Gable from next door was standing on her porch with a cup of tea, looking absolutely delighted. I started my car. I didn't honk. I didn't wave. I just drove away. 6 months later. I was at a coffee shop downtown meeting a client. I saw him. Mark was working. Not at a tech incubator. Not in a corner office. He was behind the counter at a cellular provider kiosk. The kind inside a mall. He was wearing a polo shirt that was too tight, trying to sell a phone case to a teenager. I could have walked away. But I walked up to the kiosk. He looked up. His face went pale. Selena. Hi, Mark. He looked at my suit. My bag. I bought myself the Hermes bag, by the way. Secondhand, but still. You look good, he mumbled. I am good, I said. How's the empire? He flinched. Mom had to sell her condo too. To cover the interest. We're living in a rental in the suburbs. That's tough, I said. You know, he said, leaning in, trying to summon a ghost of his old charm. You really screwed me. I could have sued you. For what? I asked. Telling the truth? He looked down at the cheap plastic phone cases. I just wanted what I deserved, he said. So did I said. And we both got it. I turned to leave. Hey, he called out. I stopped. Did you get a reward? He asked. From the IRS? I smiled. A real smile this time. I can't disclose that, I said. Financial privacy. You know how it is. I walked out of the mall. I walked into the sunshine. I checked my banking app. Pending deposit, U.S. Treasury. $62,000. It wasn't millions. But it was enough. It was enough to pay off my student loans. It was enough to take a vacation. But mostly it was proof. Proof that you can be quiet and you can be nice and you can be patient. And you can still be the most dangerous person in the room. Mark thought he was playing chess. He thought I was playing checkers. He didn't realize I was the one holding the match. And the board burns just as well as the pieces. I drove home to my new place. It's a condo. Small. But it has a view of the river. And the deed has one name on it. David was there cooking dinner. He had made pasta. He doesn't ask me for passwords. He doesn't talk about legacy. He just asks me how my day was. How was the meeting? He asked. Interesting, I said. Ran into an old acquaintance. Oh yeah. Anyone important? I thought about Mark in his polo shirt. I thought about Barbara screaming at the movers. I thought about the silence in the mediation room when I signed away my life, knowing I was actually signing their warrant. No, I said, kissing him on the cheek. Nobody important. I sat down at the table. I poured a glass of wine. I took a sip. Tasted like victory. Tasted like freedom. And honestly, it was the best glass of wine I've ever had.